wondered why cities like Vancouver or Toronto have such expensive real estate? Well, it's all about yellow belt. I'm not talking about karate here, I'm talking about zoning classification. Yellow belt does mean that the area is only allowed to have single dwellings, things like detached houses or semi-detached homes. Now, why is that tying into how expensive property values are? Well, cities like Toronto have over 62% of their land is classified as yellow belt territory, which means you can't build a multiplex, you can't build a quadplex or high density, let's say, townhouses or even condos in majority of these areas that we talked about. Vancouver is even worse, at over 80% of its land is zoned at yellow belt classification. Now, this will obviously drive up real estate as it does create that housing shortage. It makes it harder and harder for developers to come in and try to build in these lands because they're not allowed to simply be able to put higher density units. Now, I know as a homeowner, a lot of homeowners want to fix the housing problem. They want to make sure that future generations and other people, immigrants and people that are migrating to the city, can get housing for a much better pricing. But think about it. If you are a homeowner and you just bought a piece of property for, let's say, $800,000 or even $1 million, and all of a sudden they change the classification in your neighborhood, they allow for high density units like townhouses or even condos to be built, typically that could result in lowering the value of the neighborhood. Things like, for example, lower income families might start to come in. Not low income, but lower income families might tend to move into the neighborhood. You might see school ratings might start to maybe come down. You might start seeing things like that. And this just that fear of change. I'm not saying it is going to happen. I'm saying that fear of change is enough to tell people, say, you know what, I like the housing policies to change. I want them to change, just not in my neighborhood. And that kind of mentality starts to happen, and it pushes the government and elected officials to basically side with homeowners, the ones that are going to vote. And that's why it's a very complex issue. Now, there are some cities in the United States that have just completely changed. What they've done is they just removed yellow belt classifications altogether. And what that has done is it's made it kind of a fair and leveling playing field. Now, I think there are some also debate that's going on, maybe putting a percentage, so allowing each neighborhood a certain percentage of mixed use units that can come in. This way that you're not flooding the neighborhoods with high density units. A lot of debate on this, and policymakers and government officials are going to have to debate and figure out how they're going to do this, because simply having 62% of your land being dedicated to single dwellings in Toronto, or 80% or more being allocated in places like Vancouver, it's just not, it's not sustainable. So please comment below what you think is some solutions, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe, it does help the channel out. I am trying to grow this channel, still in the early phases, and thank you for watching. Have a good one. Cheers.